In 2025, we've seen some really cool new releases from the guys at Jaibaile. Is it Jaibaile? 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 No one really knows how to pronounce the name of this RC brand properly, but even so, they've had some cool new releases, such as the little monster truck that I featured on my channel a little while back. And whilst that wasn't for everyone, I actually thought it was a really cool little truck for the money. Now these guys are back, and this time they're giving us something completely different. For the first time ever, they've produced a 1/10 scale truck, which is something we've all been hoping Rolalo and MJX would do. Anyway, let's take a closer look. So today we're going to be taking a look at this 1/10 scale Truggy, and again it's from the guys at Jaibaile.
No mate, it's pronounced Jiabaile, not that horrible whatever it is you're saying. Quit it with that stuff, Ricky. You're meant to be a professional. Get on with it. Jiabaile.
Okay, I'm sorry, Stephen. It's Jaibaile. I'm terrible at pronouncing stuff. So here it is. This is the Jaibaile Truggy. It looks like we need to fit the wing and the roof skids, and then of course apply some decals if we want to. They're all included in this accessory bag. Now let's talk about scale first of all then, because they're saying this thing is a 1/10 scale truck. Is it really a 1/10 scale truck? Well, I'll compare it to a couple of the 1/10 scale trucks that I own. Unfortunately, I don't own a 1/10 scale Truggy, but compared to the rival MT10, I think they look pretty similar. And then the Armour Granite, again, they do look very similar in size. So yes, I do think this is a proper 1/10 scale Truggy. So what I'll do is I'll fit the wing and the roof skids and put some of the stickers on. I'll be back in a moment. Now I'm slightly worried here because looking in this parts bag, it doesn't look like the roof skids are included. I can only see the wing. That's not a good start. What about quality control? Right then, so I've applied some of the stickers. I've also fitted the rear wing. Overall, yeah, it does look pretty cool actually. I do like the styling on this one. What is disappointing though is this didn't actually come with the roof skids. Now I checked the box, I checked the bag again. There are no roof skids, which does make this thing look a little bit odd. And again, it just falls to poor quality control. Now this isn't the first time we've seen a little bit of lacking quality control from some of these Chinese brands. We're not new to this, we have definitely seen it before, but for the sake of a couple of roof skids, we're not going to write this truck off just yet. Now I noticed when fitting the rear wing that it does feel quite brittle. I don't think that's going to take much abuse. Also the tyres just don't feel great in my opinion. So under the body, well, this looks very interesting. I'm not sure what's going on at the back here. There seems to be loads of space around the back. Maybe they could have made this battery tray a bit longer, because just look at how small that is. I mean, there's no way I'm going to be fitting a 5,000 milliamp hour plus pack into this, which is kind of crazy really, considering that this is a 1/10 scale truck. Yeah, slightly odd design choice with that. Yeah, there's absolutely no way you're fitting a larger pack in this. There's no way that's going to fit. So here we have a little 2200 milliamp hour 3S. Let's see if this fits in this. Okay, so you can't even fit a small 2200 milliamp hour pack into this 1/10 scale truck. What were they thinking when it comes to that battery tray? Now this is where a lot of these Chinese brands fall short, on little flaws like this, and obviously the roof skids. Little things that you wouldn't really see as an issue on some of the larger brands, but unfortunately an issue like this will easily make or break a truck, and sadly I think this is a bit of an issue for me. So surely it has to get better. There has to be some good points about this truck. Well, on the front there, on the shock tower, it looks like we're getting some carbon fibre. Of course I don't think that's real carbon fibre, that must be a carbon fibre effect. So we've got a very rigid front bumper. Shocks, yeah, don't feel the best, but it's nice that they're adjustable and oil filled. Now of course there is some adjustability on this, such as the adjustable turnbuckles. Looking down there, it also looks like this has an adjustable motor mount, which is always good to see because you can fit larger pinions. Let's have a look at the rear. Yeah, that doesn't feel much better to be honest. So it looks like we've got metal CVDs on the front and rear. I have to say, I don't know what to make of this so far. So underneath you get a metal chassis, and then of course there's some plastic side guards. It is nice to see hex hardware, so that's definitely a bonus. So electronics wise, it looks like we've got a proper standard size servo. Down here we have the Dumbo RC receiver, and this one does have a gyro in it. Here we have the Hobbywing ESC, and then of course here we have the 3650 brushless motor, which of course You can tell by the red colour, it's a Surpass hobby, and that's really good news actually, because Surpass makes some really good motors, and of course we already know Hobbywing make really good electronics. So actually this thing has a pretty solid electronic setup. The only thing letting it down a little bit is of course the chassis layout. I mean, with all this extra space at the back, maybe they could have done something with the battery tray. I just find it slightly odd. A very, very odd design choice. So you heard me mention Dumbo RC receiver. Well, here we have the transmitter. You know, we've seen this thing so many times before. You get exactly the same with a lot of the Relalo trucks. These are very nice. One of the best ready to run transmitters out there. Also in the box you get a black and white manual for the truck, one for the ESC and for the transmitter. Then of course there's a few other accessories, nothing massively important here. So let's get this out and give it a run. Now of course first we're going to see how fast it goes on 2S and of course 3S, and then we'll give it a blast off-road. I'm not sure how this is going to go today, so let's just get straight into it. Right, so let's see how fast this goes on 2S. Let's start the GPS. Thankfully I've got a very nice sunny day here in the UK today. As we all know, that's incredibly rare, and it is starting to get colder as well. Well, that doesn't sound good. Sounds like there's a little bit of crunching of some sort. That's full throttle. Now this is out the box on 2S. Something doesn't sound right there. I don't know if you could pick that up on the camera, but yeah, something doesn't sound right. Right, let's see what we got out the box on 2S. Handles nicely. Yeah, you may have heard that sound as it went by there. This isn't impressing me that much just yet. Right, let's see how fast it goes. Interesting. So let's hit stop and read. So 37 miles per hour out the box on 2S. That's actually pretty good. That's respectable. Here, you guys would appreciate this. Look how I've had to fit the battery. It's sitting up on its side like that because even this 2200 milliamp hour won't fit into that battery tray. I just think that's crazy, and a totally different layout would have been better. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. So here we go on 3S. Let's see how fast this thing goes. This is definitely a quick truck out the box. Full throttle. Yeah, it starts getting a little bit twitchy at full throttle. Oh, it's quick though. It is quick for a 3S truck. Very interesting. There is definitely a noise coming from this. And I don't know where from. Possibly a diff maybe. That's something I'll have to look into. Right, this is going to be interesting actually. I think we're going to see 50 plus. Right, before I crash it, let's bring it back and see what we got, and then we'll give it a little rip off-road. Yeah, this thing's going to have to do a lot more if it's going to impress me, because so far I'm not massively impressed. I'm trying to get back in the shade so I can show you how fast this thing goes. It's really sunny today, which is nice. Right, stop and read. So 52 miles per hour. That's pretty quick out the box on 3S actually. So I'm just giving this a little rip off-road. I'm still running it on 3S. Handles really nicely actually. There's been a lot of debate recently about some of these more affordable brands and, you know, how they compare to Traxxas and Armour, and should Traxxas and Armour be worried about these brands? Well, do you know what? I actually think they should. This thing may not be perfect out the box, but these budget brands are definitely starting to go that way. They're starting to produce larger cars. You know, we're going to see Relalo and MJX coming out with some larger cars as well soon. There are some rumours about MJX releasing some new 1/10 scale trucks, although I haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, I think things are going to be changing in the RC market. I think it's fair to say though that these budget and affordable brands are going to have a pretty hard job when it comes to convincing some of the old school Traxxas and Armour fans. But I do think a step in the right direction will be producing larger cars, good parts availability, and then I think Traxxas and Armour may be slightly worried, but at the moment, yeah, I can kind of see why they're not worried, because there isn't really that many good 1/10 scale and above options out there, apart from like the MJX rally car, for example, which is 1/7 scale. But when it comes to truggies and monster trucks and stuff like that, the Omni Terminator, I would say, is probably the biggest threat at the moment to a lot of the bigger brands, but even that's not a proper 1/10 scale truck. Oh, it's all over. I have eaten through that pack insanely quick. Now, just before coming over here, I was over there, somewhere over there, filming the speed run section of the video. I only brought two 2200 milliamp hour batteries with me, one 2S and one 3S. Yeah, I could have brought more, but I wanted to see just how long they would last. I think I've been over here for about 5 minutes and I've already used up both of those packs, or at the very least, whatever was left in those packs. If this thing had a larger battery tray, I would have brought a couple of larger batteries with me, and it would have meant that I would have been over there having more fun with it. But instead, we're gonna have to end the video there. So there we go then, guys, brand new from Jaibaile.
Say it properly.
Jaibaile. Some very questionable design choices, also lacking in a little bit of quality control. For example, the roof skids missing just isn't ideal. Now, what some people will say is, why didn't you just take a handful of batteries with you? You could have just taken 2 or 3 2200 milliamp hour packs and just run those. Now, that's easy to say, and yes, that probably would be the ideal thing to do, but what people forget is, my job is to review a product, and if it has flaws, I'm not going to go out my way to find fixes for those flaws. And if this is meant to be a 1/10 scale truck, just like the other 1/10 scale trucks out there, you should be able to fit a larger battery. I'm not really the kind of person who likes to sugarcoat stuff. Now, the thing is, I actually really like this truck, and I'm not going to be totally negative because this is the first time they've produced something of this size. But if these affordable brands are going to go down this route and start producing larger cars, they need to be looking at some of the other big brands out there, kind of have a look and see how they're doing it, and then try and replicate that. At the moment, I just don't think this is up there. Now, if you like the look of this and you do want one, I'll leave a link down below so you can head over to Banggood and check it out. I do like the electronics choice, so that's definitely a step in the right direction, but this definitely needs more work. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this. And again, I'll ask the same question that I've been asking on my second channel. Do you think Traxxas and Armour should be threatened by some of these more affordable brands? Now, yes, this truck may not be the truck we're all waiting for, but I think we're going to be seeing some cool stuff from Rolalo and MJX. At the very least, that's just my opinion. Sometimes people don't like to hear my opinion, especially the Armour and Traxxas fans. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one. Take care.
Jiabaile.
If you enjoyed today's video and you want to check out 2 really cool alternatives to this truck, click one of these videos now.